Hey guys, MSS Customs here, and I am finally back with a new showcase. I haven't done a showcase in so long, and I'm just so happy I'm starting back with this one. This is the Dragon Ball Super Showcase, and I am a big fan of Dragon Ball Super. I love the show so far. A lot of cool things have happened, and I thought this would be a good way to start off this series of Dragon Ball Super figures because the Universe Survival arc is coming up, and that's going to bring a whole new line of characters I'm sure that people are going to ask me to make. So I'm just starting with these guys now, and then maybe I'll make other ones in the future of past arcs, but I'm mainly hoping for the new arc with these. Anywho, before I get into anything, I just want to start by saying, in terms of commissioning, these guys are also commissionable as usual, but I have decided to finally lighten up a little bit about commissioning and decide to start letting just parts of a figure sell. So, right now, you can buy the torso of a Kai. So, like a Kai torso piece, you can buy a Super Saiyan hairpiece in various colors, obviously, you know, because there's rose, and there's blue, and white, and gold, and all that stuff. And then you can also get the Goku and Vegeta hairpieces. So, yeah, those are available now if you wanted to, email me, same way commissioning would work, except this time around you'd only ask for a piece. And yeah, that's how that works now. So if you guys would ever like to purchase just parts of the figure now, it's slowly going to happen with only certain things though. So, yeah. Anywho, how about we get into the video, and let us start with Vegeta. So here we have Vegeta. Now, Vegeta isn't like, so, right, with a few of these figures, I did base like certain parts of them off of older figures I've done in the past, but Vegeta is a big update compared to his older version that I've had. So first off with this Vegeta, the hairpiece remains the same. It's the same hairpiece that he's always had with me. I did have to make a separate hairpiece for the second form, but I'll get into that later. The whole torso was sculpted onto a Lego base, and I made the newer Wiese training armor for him. And I'm very happy with how that came out, and I'm really happy I started using this specific material that I've been using now, which is epoxy sculpt. Epoxy sculpt is basically a plastic clay type of thing, and it's so nice, and it goes on so nicely, and it just looks great in the end. So that's what I've been making all these things with lately. Anywho, let me start from the bottom to the top. I was lucky enough to find myself a gray body that actually matched that color. On top of that, I also had some nice gold paints, so when I applied the gold onto his body, it just looked nice. I don't really have much to talk about in terms of arms and legs with him. I just try my best to do as much detail on them as I can. But another thing that, like I said before, you can do with him and a few other characters actually, is I drew a whole separate face based on the other formed face, and you can switch it around, and you could put the other hairpiece on him that I had painted blue, obviously, and now he can transform into Super Saiyan Blue. And then, yeah, that's actually the case for a few characters I've made here. Goku, you'll see, has it. Black has it. You'll see. Anywho, that's it for Vegeta. Let's move on to the star of the show himself, Son Goku. Here we have Goku. Now, this specific Goku I've made here is actually, like, well, he can, do a flip face, except I already had a regular Goku face, so I really just, I don't show his other face in this video, because there's no real need to, I think. You'll see the same hairpiece on Black later. It's the same type of thing, except I redid his body to do in his newer suit, his training gi with Wiese, which I personally do really like over the original suit. For people that'll disagree, okay, but like I can get it. but I don't know what it is about the suit that I just love, and I think it's so cool. So first things first with him, his whole little skirt part of it, I don't know what you'd call that part of the gi, is cardstock that was cut to fit it, along with some 3D elements of the little part of the tied thing around him. Alright, so with both Vegeta and Goku, their signatures on them, I couldn't get perfectly, but I tried my best with that. His face has his minor defaults and minor problems, but overall I think it serves his look, and I think he looks really good. I really like how I painted him and how he ended up coming out in the end. And yeah, that's it for Goku. This is actually that same hairpiece, by the way, that I'm talking about before, that is up for sale and stuff that I'm going to be mass producing. And yeah, so that's it for Goku. Let's move on to my personal favorite villain, and this form of him just made it so much funner for me. Let's get into Golden Frieza. Here we have the bloodthirsty tyrant himself, Lord Frieza. Now, I specifically love this version of him completely. Like when I first saw him in Resurrection F, I flipped, because Frieza was always my favorite villain. And like, he just, I don't know what it was with him, and everyone would probably say that about Frieza, that he's one of the most iconic villains to know from Dragon Ball specifically. But like, over Cell and Majin Buu, Frieza is still my favorite. And I guess Vegeta, if you want to count him. It's still always Frieza. And the golden form just made it 10 times better for me. So, this Frieza stepped up a bunch from my first Frieza I made. For example, his head has sculpted features on him, done with the epoxy sculpt, that are more, pop down 3-dimensional looking, including the brow he has, his sculpted on ears, and the kind of carved in dome he has on his head type of thing there, along with sculpted muscles onto him, and obviously the sparkly, shiny, golden paint job. And I don't know, just with Golden Frieza, I think it was so cool. So that's the whole reason why I made him. It's like, he has nothing to do with any of the other characters you're going to see today specifically either, so it really doesn't matter as much with him. I loved making this character. So, that is it for Golden Frieza. Now let's go into the most recent arc. Let's get into Black Goku. False god to some, true god to one. Full hardcore evil version of Goku. His body was made pretty much the same way as my other Goku's body was made, with the skirt and just different color scheme and different head flip. That hairpiece is the same type of hairpiece I did obviously for my regular Goku, and to make his head reversible, I couldn't obviously have the little earring for the Patara earrings on both ends, because then he would look weird. So it's only on the one side of him. The original version I made of him actually had 2 Patara earrings in accidentally, and I didn't mean that to be, so I had to take it off. So between transformations, because I have it glued onto his face, the Patara earring changes from the left to the right side. But I mean, hey, it doesn't really matter as long as other Zamasu isn't around. But yeah, and then the other side of his face is obviously Super Saiyan Rose, which I much enjoyed this version of the Goku face over my Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Goku face. I don't know what it is, his face just to me seemed to have came out better than the other one. But yeah, that's really it for Goku Black. Let's move on to who is behind Goku Black. Zamasu. Here we have the antagonist behind everything in the Future Trunks arc as a whole, Zamasu. Now, Zamasu is the version of Black that people don't like. He's the character that everyone basically forgot about. Didn't forget about, but had to deal with. Now, I really enjoy how I made his Kai outfit completely. I love it so much. And I made it to a sense where I can take it and I can add different pieces to it. So the way I did that, I sculpted the actual torso piece separately without like the cloak around him, and that was what I used. And then when I made a second one actually too, but I did use a different piece around it. Because I wanted it to be able to, you can make any Kai you would want with this if you were to use it. So you can make him a different Kai, you can make him the fused version, by different painting him obviously, and all that type of stuff. And that's really what I liked about this specific torso piece that I made. And of course this one's painted to obviously look like Zamasu's. His paint job I thought came out really nice. On his head, he has also this sculpted mohawk type of thing that he has going on in the show, and obviously the one Patara earring on his one side of his ear would be. But for some reason, I didn't make his ears, and after seeing it for a bit, I really wish I did make the ears. I'm probably gonna, but because I was still rushing to get this video out, because I'm terrible with timing with this stuff, the video, he doesn't have his thing on. He doesn't have any ears. But I did want to still make his other form, because his other form is still awesome. So you fuse Black and Zamasu together, make a whole nother version of his body, and you get what people know to be Super Saiyan Rose, Black, and Zamasu as an immortal fused together to create Zamasu. It does nothing towards the name because it's not like, it's still the same person. So nothing really changed in facial wise for some reason. He still looks like personally with this form, I wish that he had the Goku face, but his face was green instead of it literally just looking like Zamasu's face. So that's exactly what I did there. It's the same face from before, but with the Super Saiyan hairpiece on top. And, So, and then it's the same type of thing where I sculpted the Kai thing on him, and then just redid it a bit to match the new outfit that he wears in the show. And the gray and red color scheme still, regardless of how odd of a transformation this character is, still was just awesome. So, I personally love the look of him still, even though nothing really changed. Anywho, that is it for Zamasu, the immortal pain in the neck of a villain. Let's move on to the good side of this dynamic duo, Wiese. And here we have Wiese. Now, Wiese is personally, I think, a really cool character, just because he is, at least right now, known to be one of the strongest people ever. Along with him, his sister, obviously, and now his father, they're the strongest people in the universe. And from trailers of the arc coming up, I'm guessing also all the other people that are like Wiese, angels, whatever you want to call them, are very similar to him in terms of power, and are probably really strong. One thing I can say I forgot with Wiese is that he had that ring around his neck, so I'm going to end up making that sometime in the future to add on to that. The original version of my Wiese, his staff, the ring wasn't blue, it was actually gold, which I liked better, but from watching the show the next time I watched it, it was actually blue. And I was really confused because in the concept art I saw of him when I was doing it, or not concept art, just the art of him I saw, his ring on his staff was blue. Gold, I mean, gold. It was gold. And so I painted it like that, and it wasn't right. Something I can say I really did like about the staff, though, is that I sculpted the ring around a piece of plastic, so it could, it still looks like the ball is floating. On most backgrounds, you know, it'll still look through it and look like it's just floating there, which is what they actually did on the figure they've made of Wiese. The hair sculpt I thought was also really nice. I did glue it onto this head just because mine was falling apart on me, and it was really annoying. So I make his head now on it, and it just stays there. So yeah, that's really. Oh, and then with Wiese, oh my god, I love his whole torso piece, his whole body, because he is actually taller than a regular Lego character as well. When I sculpted him, I did take some of the epoxy sculpt and make a gap in between his legs and his torso just to make him taller, because Wiese is really tall. So that's what I did, and then, you know, obviously put all that detail on there and painted it in, and it looks so good, and I really love how he came out. Definitely one of my favorite figures I've made. Although he is one of my favorite figures I've made, there's a character that I saved for last just because he is probably now my favorite character. Here he is, the god of destruction himself, Lord Beerus. Lord Beerus is his name, and destruction is his game. Lord Beerus is just... Yeah, that was corny. But still, Lord Beerus is... Oh my god, guys. Lord Beerus. That's all I can say here. Lord Beerus is just... I think he's so cool. So I had to make him perfect with Lego. And definitely there are some things that aren't perfect like I wanted, but it still looks good. Specifically talking about here the head, I really love how I did the head sculpt. It took me a bit to think about what I wanted to do it on, and then I was like, oh my god, do you remember that old space police sets things, and they had the alien head and it had the big eyes? I was like, that would be perfect to make Beerus on, and that's what I did. So I thought that just fit perfectly for Beerus, and I sculpted with the epoxy sculpt on top of that, and then it became Beerus. And so that's really my big tip with Beerus here. Use the Space Police head for him, because it works so well, and it just looks like Beerus. There are definitely some things, though, I don't have right on it, but, it definitely serves its point. Also, his neck thing that he wears was also sculpted on with the epoxy sculpt. The little band he has on his midsection of his legs was made the same way as Goku's skirt and black skirt, and then along with the little rings he has on his hands, on his arms, those are also sculpted on with epoxy sculpt, and the whole thing was painted, and I just love him so much. And you stand him next to Wiese, and they just fit. They just look so nice together, and I don't know, I love them. I think they came out really nice. Yeah, I really am bad at saying stuff for showcases. So that is it for these figures, and that is it for the Dragon Ball Super Showcase, or at least this one. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you're excited for more stuff in the future, including, obviously, the future of the Dragon Ball Super Show being recreated into Lego. And actually, I'm still thinking about maybe even making a stop motion off of these characters as well, aside from Loke, which that's another thing that I need to get into. But I'm going to save it for another video. There are plenty of other things coming your way very soon, including more prop-related builds as well, for the other part of the channel that is being updated. As you saw as well, the channel's opening for showcases and stuff is being changed still. I haven't really figured out what I'm doing for it yet, which is why it's not, or it isn't. Alright, it isn't that I haven't figured out what I'm doing for it yet. It's just I haven't really made progress from where I last was. So it just didn't happen yet. But it'll be out hopefully by the next showcase that will air, and who knows when that is because it's me. And now I also have theater stuff and school stuff and all that jazz. So until next time, guys, that is all from me for now. I'll see you next time. Bye.